Today we're going to be talking about girths, what girths I use on my horses, for what reasons, what size girth should you put on your horse, everything around the subject of girths, okay? So this girth here, it's made by Classic Equine, it's called Featherflex. This is the girth that I like to use. It has a wider middle section, so it's narrow up here as it comes down to the middle, it's wider and then it narrows back down again. This is my girth of choice. I think this gives the horse a lot more support underneath his belly. It doesn't cut into the horse as much. I have less girth gall with a type of horse like this, especially when starting colts. So this is the girth that I choose to use. There's, everybody's girths are like personal opinions. Everybody's got one, but this is the one that I use. Okay, I like the rubber material on the inside, the neoprene. It's easy to clean. It's easy to wipe off. If you've got a fungus in the barn, it's easy to disinfect. On the back side, it's very durable. This material that I've got here, if you're wearing spurs, it holds up to a lot of pressure from your leg. It's just a very durable product, okay? So let's talk a little bit about girths, okay, and the position of them. I want to have it so when I first put a saddle on, I do it up just snug. And then after a few minutes, maybe move his feet around, lead him out to the indoor arena or outdoor arena, wherever I'm going, I'll do it up again a lot firmer. And then right before I get on, I do it up really firm. So I basically do my girth up in 3 different stages. When I get the last stage done up, like now, like on Dolly, okay, I want to have this girth positioned right about where it is right here. No higher than that. So this cinch on this side, the D, is about right there on the side. Here's her elbow here, right on the edge. It's probably 5 inches higher than her elbow. If this would get any higher up towards the saddle here, it would be too big for this horse, this particular cinch. When I get it done up, I want the middle of my girth to be right in the middle of her sternum bone, right in the middle. So, for example, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like this, okay? So this is the left side of the horse, the right side of the horse. When I go to do my cinch up, the middle of my cinch, the middle 2 buckle, the D-rings, will be slightly to this side of my sternum bone. By the time I get the girth done up the 3rd time, they should be right in the middle of the horse. If I start with them in the middle of the horse, by the time I do it up 3 times, now they're over here. Okay, so let's go ahead, Isabel, and let's tighten that cinch up on that side way too short on that side. We'll deliberately do it too short, just to show an example. So I'm going to loosen it up. Isabel is one of my method ambassadors. She's going to tighten the cinch up on the other side way too tight. You need more? You good? Okay. So can it go up higher? Go up high. I want to do it overly exaggerate too short. Good? Righto. So now, see how this girth is really low right now. When I look underneath her, the middle of the girth is way on the other side of her spine. So this is way too low here. It interferes with her elbow. So even if I done it up really tight, it's way down here near her elbow. Now let's do the opposite extreme, Isabel. Let's put it way too loose, and so it's up too far on this side. Basically, when I get the girth done up 3 times, I want both D's to be even on the horse's side. I don't want one up and one down, or one up and the other one down. I want them to be both even on either side. And I want the middle of the girth to be smack bang in the middle of their sternum bone. Okay, so this is really long now, correct? So when we do this up, look at the difference. Now, look how high the cinch is now. Now the buckle is almost up here where the saddle D-ring is here. So this is, now if I look under here, look, you can even see the D-ring is almost touching, and the middle of the girth is touching her elbow. That's how unbalanced this saddle is right now. Okay, so you can lengthen it one side. So now let's do it where it should be, Isabel. Need more slack? Good? Right. So right about there, when I get this done up, okay, now this, it actually could be a little bit shorter on that side. Just go up a half hole, Isabel. Just a half hole. Righto, when I do it up now, the middle of the D's of the girth, keep her head up please, the middle of the D's of the girth are right in the middle of her sternum bone, okay? So sometimes, you know, horses fluctuate in their weight just like people. Some horses, sometimes they've gained weight in 2 or 3 week periods, sometimes they've lost weight. So a girth is not like just a static size. We might start 2-year-olds in like a 28-inch girth, and within 6 months we're in a 30-inch girth. And a year later, we're in a 32-inch girth, and then a year later, 34, okay, or 36. So it's not just a static size. So it depends on how big their belly is. It depends on what age they are and what they're growing. But here's the general rule. This is the left side of the horse, this is the right side. I start out with the middle of my girth a little bit to this side, offside of their sternum. By the time I do it up 3 times, it's right in the middle. So each D-ring, I want the D-ring not to be any higher than this. It's above, this is her elbow right here. So it's about, if I spread the difference between my little finger and my thumb, it's about that far up, no higher than that. So sometimes you might need to lower it on the other side just a smidgen, or go up on the other side just a smidgen. That's where you can do half holes. You don't have to go up a whole entire hole, you might just do a half hole there, okay? So nothing annoys me more than having a girth that is way unbalanced. It's way high on one side and low on the other, or way high on this side and lower on the other, okay? So give me that girth again, please. This is the girth that I like to use. I like it wider in the center because it gives the horse more support underneath his belly, okay? I like how it narrows up at the end. So this is a girth that I've been using for at least 10 years that Classic Equine make, okay? This is the girth that I really like the way it is. Some people like, you know, mohair girths. Some people like neoprene. It's all a personal preference. I like the neoprene ones with the other material on the outside because they're durable, but at the same time, if you've got a fungus or something in a barn, you can easily get rid of that fungus. Like a lot of people, you got to remember, when you're in a commercial barn, a professional barn, you might have anywhere from 25 to 50 horses in training. There's horses coming and going all the time. When you've just got 1 or 2 horses in your backyard, the chances of you getting a fungus or getting a skin rash or something is very low because you're not introducing any new horses. There's never a change of horses. But when you're in a professional barn, horses come in and out of different stalls all the time. Okay, so often you will get a fungus in a barn and you need to be able to clear it up very quickly. Me personally, we use a different girth and a different saddle pad for every horse in training. So I've got 10 horses that I train for cow horses, okay? Each horse has its own pad, each horse has its own girth. Why do I do that? So that if I do happen to have a bug in the barn, I can isolate it very quickly. Where if you're using the same saddle pad on multiple horses, if you get a fungus or a rash, it'll spread between the horses very, very quickly. That's why I separate the girth as well. Do you have to do it the way I do it? No, I just do it like that because I'm really particular about keeping my horses healthy, keeping them looking good, and it's not if you're ever going to get a fungus or a bug in your barn if you have a bigger barn. It's just when and how long does it take to clear it up. So I hope I've answered some of the questions about girths, why I use a certain girth, how I want to fit it. It's a pet peeve to me when somebody hands me a horse and I'm going to go train it and I have to spend 3 minutes adjusting the girth when it should have been done first. So it's just a personal preference. I want it done right the first time, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. So guys, we've got a sale on for the next 10 days. 10% off any of the girths that Classic Equine make for Downunder Horsemanship. You know I've been using Classic Equine equipment now for almost 20 years. They make the very best horse tack in the world. 10% off all girths for the next 10 days.